Okay, so let me introduce myself. So I'm Venkat. So for this coming few days during this session, I am your trainer for the BODS technology. And let me introduce myself. So I have 15 years of IT experience. I started my career with an SAP Labs as a vendor associate. And after that, I worked at different companies and currently working with a company where I'm a project lead for BODS and information steward projects. So parallelly, I have a passion to deliver this kind of a virtual room trainings and corporate trainings, right? So classroom trainings on different technologies where I have delivered on SAP HANA, SAP BODS, SAP BO, and SAP information steward as well, right? So that is all about myself. So normally what happens is whenever you go to any particular shopping mall, if you go to Walmart outlet, you will do some shopping, you will buy some groceries, and you will go to the billing desk and you will pay the bill, right? So that is what you are going to start generating some data whenever they are going to sell and whenever you are going to buy. That is a place where actually the data gets generated. They are going to scan the barcode on the goods and they are going to give you a bill and you're going to pay the money. So that is what happens. Yeah. So what is the data is all about? So that data will tell you how much you have purchased and what is the discount you got, whether that discount as part of a promotional discount or it is part of a summer sale or maybe winter sale or clearance sale. So all these things that matters whenever you're going to purchase anything from the Walmart unit. So that is what called as a transactional data. So let us take an example. Let us take an example. You are a CEO of the company and you want to understand in a last quarter, which item performed well, which item got sold effectively, what is my inventory, how much stock I need to maintain in order to meet customers' requirement. So if that is the case, will you be able to go through the each and every transaction record? Because if you take a 3 months of data, you have a millions and trillions of data that gets generated at the billing desk, right? So being a CEO of the company, it's impossible, or maybe being in the supervisor level, or maybe at the middle level management, it is impossible for anybody to go through the each and every record and calculate manually what could be the summary of revenue on particular items in a quarter. It's not possible at all, right? So there should be some mechanism where those trillions and millions of records has to be converted into summarized format. I mean to say, like, in a quarter, HP laptops, how many got sold? The CEO of the company wants to understand only that information. So he is not interested who bought it. He is not interested all the trillion people's information. He is interested only which company's laptops got sold. So what is the inventory we have? Do we need to raise an order to HP company, right? Do we need to raise an order to IBM for a new laptops? So that kind of information the CEO of the company requires, or maybe the store supervisor requires, right? So that's where exactly the data warehouse comes into the picture. So data warehouse is kind of a process to convert that operational data. Whenever I'm talking about an operational data, that operational data that gets generated at the billing desk, right? That billions and trillions of records are called as an operational data. That operational data has to be converted. That operational data has to be converted into useful information, so that on top of that, somebody can create reports. Somebody can create a beautiful charts, bar charts, pie charts, or kind of a some kind of a graphs, some kind of a scorecards, using some beautiful reporting tools in the market, right? So how many steps we have in order to reach the operational data to the CEO of the company? How many steps we have performed? First, we have performed converting operational data into useful information. That information has to be properly represented in the form of a reports, bar charts and pie charts to the CEO of the company. So how many steps we have? How many steps you guys have identified during this process of converting those operational data into useful bar charts and pie charts? During my process, right, I have explained you there is some operational data. That data has to be properly summarized. The data has to be properly calculated.
Yeah.
On top of that, you're going to create some reports. So we have a step number one. What is the step number one? That step number one would be conversion of
Yeah.
all the operational data into useful information, right? So that is what called as a data warehouse. Okay, so let me share my screen. So you will get good idea what I'm talking about here. Okay, so we are here to understand what is meant by business intelligence. So just try to digest Ali and Boni. So just try to digest some new terms that I'm going to introduce now. It will help you to enhance your experience, right? So, okay. So there are some word called business intelligence. See, business intelligence means we have some aggregated data. So somebody has created that trillions and billions of records into useful aggregated data like quarter-wise sales, month-wise sales, right? Week-wise sales. So they have converted and they have presented the data in the beautiful bar charts and pie charts. On top of that, they're going to enrich the data, and they are going to take a decision out of it. So that is what we have. So these are all the different technologies that are very much they have very much demand, right? But business intelligence is also one of it. So why we require a business intelligence? If you want to take any decision in your real life also, if you want to take any particular decision, obviously you are going to make a depends upon the data, right? Without data, you won't be able to take any decision. Whether it is a wrong decision or right decision depends upon the data you're going to take it. So I'm not too, because it's I just want to touch base all this, right? So see how the data comes up. The data will comes up from the Facebook page. It may come from the Twitter page. It may come from the call center notes, voices, right? Emails, blogs. These are all the different mediums where data gets generated. So that data has to be categorized. That data has to be tuned. That data has to be analyzed, right? So that is what I'm talking about. So if you observe carefully, so we have a Facebook, right? In a Facebook also depends upon these decisions, depends upon the discussions, what is going on, depends upon that also. You are going to build a beautiful reporting, and you can showcase to the CEO of the company. These are all the discussions. If you observe carefully, I have discovered limited time DD strawberry shortcake coffee, right? So this is what maybe they are saying. They have introduced a new product called strawberry shortcake coffee, right? And it is toasted almond flavor. So if you see here in their discussions itself, we are identifying what is the flavor and what it is toasted with. Yeah, so that kind of an information you can get it. Yeah, so this is what we are talking about, information governance. So So what is the data you have in a source system? What is the data you have in a operational system? What is the data we have that is generating at the billing desk? Maybe each and every data is not not suitable or not required or not relevant, right? If they are not suitable or not relevant, so obviously it is not required to go to the CEO of the company, because he don't want to see that irrelevant data. So we have some techniques where the information governance, and where you're going to remove some data, you're going to prevent some data, something like that. So these are all the BA technologies what we have from different companies, right? And out of that, we have selected SAP company. See, from Oracle also we have this Siebel, Hyperion, Brian, Sun we have. And from SAP, we have a business object, Sybase, BODS. From IBM, we have a different company. EMC, we have a different company. HP, Teradata, these are all the different companies with their different products. Yeah. So these are all some recommendations. Okay. So having said that, I want to show you a picture where you will understand it much better. So let us take an example, right? Let us take an example. So we have some kind of an operational systems. When I say operational systems, you will go to ATM, right? So when I say ATM, like so money uh, uh, machines where you're going to take the money, right? So I'm not sure what you guys say that, but in India we say like ATM, right? Where you're going to withdraw some amount money, right? So whenever you're going to do some transaction, so obviously some transactions will get generated at the ATM machine, money machine, where you're going to withdraw some money. So that kind of a transactions are called as an operational data. Yeah. So that kind of a transactions operational data. Maybe I have given different source systems here. These are all the, let us imagine for a moment, this is a money machine where you're going to take the money, right? So this particular transaction, whenever you're going to perform some withdrawal, so you're going to perform some transaction. That transaction would be some debit, or you're going to deposit some money as well. So that will be a credit. So debit and credit, these are all the different transactions that you're going to make it. If that is the case, that operational data has to be converted into useful data. On top of that, you're going to create different reports, different dashboards. Yeah. So you can have called as reports. So we can have dashboards, and we can have scorecards. So these are all the reporting purposes, so that the CEO of the company will look into that and he will take a decision. So if I tell you the process, right, exactly. So this is called as data warehouse. Data warehouse. In short, we will call it as, right, data warehouse. So the conversion of operational data into useful summarized data is called as data warehouse, is called as an ETL. The conversion of raw data into useful data warehouse is called as an extraction, transformational loading, is called as an ETL, So that is where we are talking about now. That is where the BODS is all about. The step number one, the conversion of all the transaction data that has to be converted, all the billions and trillions of data has to be converted into properly summarized manner. So that process is called as an ETL. ETL is nothing but extraction, yeah, loading, right? So this is what we have. And we have a step number two. What is the step number two? The step number two would be performing the reporting. Yeah. So this is what called as a step number two. Yeah. So what are all the different source systems? You can see that. Maybe you can see that some of them have an SAP, right? S4 system, that can be one source. Maybe we can see Oracle as one source. Yeah, Oracle system as one source. We can see SQL Server as one source. Yeah, you can see like something like an Excel sheets, .csv files. These are all the different files. These are all the different sources from which data gets generated. On top of that, you're going to create that ETL. What is an ETL? The conversion of all the raw data of the millions and trillions of data into a properly structured manner is called as a ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading. And the second part is you're going to create a report on top of this summarized data so that the CEO of the company will take a decision out of it. Yeah. So the conversion of operational data into useful reports, that entire process is called as a business intelligence. Yeah, that entire process is called as a business intelligence. So business intelligence is a process. Yeah, business intelligence is a process of converting the operational data into useful reports, dashboards, and the scorecards. Yeah, so we are here. So we have decided BODS as a extraction, transformation, loading mechanism or loading software, loading application, BODS. And you are going to learn this step number 1 as part of a requirement. Yeah, so you are going to learn the step number 1, that is extraction, transformation, and loading. Right, so we are at the step number 1. So our course is focuses on step number 1. So we are not going to create any report. Okay, good to know. So now we will directly jump onto the tools. Initially, the attempt what I made here is I want to show you the overall picture, right? So data warehouse, business intelligence. Now slowly we are entering into our topic called BODS. So as I mentioned previously, the conversion of all the operational data, all the trillions and billions of data into useful data warehouse. On top of that data warehouse, you're going to create some reports out of it, right? So that process is called as a business intelligence. Business intelligence has 2 steps. Step number 1 is the conversion of raw data into useful data warehousing system. And the step number 2 would be create a reports on top of a data warehousing system. That is step number 2. And we are at the step number 1. Our course is mainly focuses on the step number 1, that is an ETL. ETL is nothing but extraction, transformation, and loading. There are like a lot of tools in the market where they are providing ETL services, right? Like Informatica, we have something called as data stage we have, and we have a BODS we have, and we have open source systems like Talent we have, right? So with different tools we have basically for the different requirements on the ETL front. But our company or your company has decided to go for the BODS, various reasons. Because of the various reasons, they have decided to go for the BODS, and that's why you guys are here to learn the BODS. Yeah. So, okay. So having said that, let me reshare. Yeah. So now we are entering into our world, BODS, SAP Business Objects Data Services Technical Overview, right? So SAP Data Services Technical Architecture we have. Okay, this is an agenda of this particular PPT. So first of all, I will try to explain you what is the data services technical architecture. Just try to understand. You don't have to memorize or you don't have to remember everything. It's kind of a high level information that I'm going to give you on the BODS so that you will understand better in the next sessions. So data services technical architecture, developing in the in the data services, data quality management, deployment in data services, deploying for better performance, managing with the data services, maintenance with the data services. These are the 6 points that you're going to learn it. Yeah. So previously we have 2 tools actually in the market. Whenever I have started my career, we have 2 tools actually. So one is called as the data integrator, and the second one is called as data quality. So data integrator and the data quality, we have 2 independent tools, two separate installations. After that, they have combined, and we are calling that as data services. So in short, we can say that data services has two solutions, or data services has two two different combination of two softwares. One is called as the data integrator software, and second one is the data quality software. Data services is the first single solution combining the data quality software and data integration software. So that is what we need to remember. Yeah. So now we are entering into the what is the data services. Yeah. So what is the data services? As I mentioned previously, data services will does a extraction, transformation, and loading. Data services will does an extraction, transformation, and loading. What is meant by an extraction? You're going to extract the data from the different source systems. Yeah. So see, you see a different source systems here. So we have files here, and we have different sheets here, and we have web services we have, and we have a databases. I mean, these are all the different source systems we have. These are all the different source systems we have. So those source systems, whatever you see here, right? Those source systems you have, right? What you could see. Okay. So whatever the source systems you see here, these are all captures all your trillions and billions of data. That data has to be used, properly used by this BODS. See, whatever the screens that you see here, this is a BODS, and that BODS will be loaded, or will be loading the data into the data warehouse system. On top of that, you're going to have a semantic layer. That via semantic layer, you're going to create some reports. That entire process of conversion of this transaction data into the reports is called as a business intelligence, as I mentioned previously. The conversion of the raw data into useful reports or charts is called as a business intelligence. But in between, we have one step called ETL. That ETL would be you're going to extract the data from from these systems, and you're going to load it into the physical data integration. That we will see that later on. Don't worry. What is that physical data integration? What is this and all and everything? But we are going to concentrate, extract the data from the source system, and load the data into the physical data integration model. Only from here to here, only you are going to concentrate, right? So you are going to concentrate only on this particular part. You are going to get the data from the different source systems, and you are going to extract the data using BODS, yeah, using BODS, and you are going to load it into this. So that is what we have. Yeah.